Netflix announces more than 30 Korean movies and series for 2023. Black Knight, Jung-e, and A Ballerina are among the upcoming titles. Netflix announced this Monday 16, 34 titles between Korean movies and series scheduled for 2023. Among the productions, there are unpublished adaptations and continuation of popular series. Check out the full list below. Series: Gyeongseong's Creature, a thriller set in the spring of 1945, one of the darkest times in Korean history. It tells the story of two young men who struggle to survive a monster created from human greed. Black Knight is a Netflix series set in 2017 on a planet so polluted that humanity depends on masks to breathe. It tells the story of Korean and fighter extraordinaire 5 and 8 and a refugee CEO who dreams of following his idol's footsteps to help the world's unfortunated. Duna is a romance between Young-woo, an ordinary college student, and Duna, a former K-pop star who has retired and left the glamorous life behind. Their paths cross when they share the same house for students. Times brings you to me. In the novel Time Brings You to Me, Jung-hee misses her boyfriend who passed away a year ago and travels back in 1998. There she meets Shi-tung, who is identical to her boyfriend. The Lesson Part 2. The Lesson is a Netflix series that tells the story of a woman whose soul is torn apart by the violence she suffers at school, who dedicates her life to creating an elaborate web to take revenge on those who wrote her. Song of the Bandit, an action-adventure story set in the troubled period when Japan colonized Korea. In it, a group of people will end up in a lawless city for various reasons and need to unite to protect the Korean people. DP Dog Day Season 2. DP Dog Day is a Netflix series in which Jung-woo and Ho-yoo are part of the Korean military unit responsible for searching for deserters and discover the stories of the people they're pursuing, a reality unknown to them. Mask Girl. Mask Girl is the story of Kim Woo-min, who works in an office during the day and is insecure about her appearance. At night, she broadcasts over the internet, wearing a mask to hide her face until she is involved in a life-changing incident. Hunting Dogs. Bloodhound is the story of two young people who enter the world of loan sharking in search of money and become involved in a network shadow forces. Celebrity. Celebrity is a Netflix series in which the character Sion Ari shows the reality behind the glamorous and competitive lives of celebrities, diving headlong into this world of fame and wealth. Sweet Home Season 2. Tong Kang, Lee Jin-kung, Lee Si-young, Kam Sin, and Park Jong-young are the hit residents of White House Green, who lived in through moments of tension in the previous season, risking their lives in blood battles against their neighbors that turned into monsters. Love to Hate You. Love to Hate You is a romantic comedy about a woman who hates losing to men and a man who doesn't trust women. The two live in troubled romance, trying to find peace throughout the process. A Daily Dose of Sun. A Daily Dose of Sun explores the world of psychiatry and tells the story of Dong Myung, a young nurse who starts working in a hospital's mental health ward, and the people in her life. Goodbye Earth. Goodbye Earth is a Netflix series that tells the story of the last 200 days of the planet's inhabitants before a fatal collision with an asteroid. Queenmaker. The Netflix series Queenmaker tells the story of how Word Do Hui, a brilliant public relations professional who works for a corporate conglomerate but decided to enter politics to try to elect activist Gyeongseong, nicknamed Mad Hino, due to the battles faced as the new mayor of Seoul. Behind her thought, Young Boon's dream was to be a vegetarian in the small town of Gwangju, but between carving caves and vaccinating fish, she does a lot of dirty work to pay the bills. But everything turns upside down when, on a visit to a ranch, she discovers the gift of psychometry. On the same day, she meets Detective Jang-gu, who mistakes the young woman for a criminal and tries to bring her down. Love Intensity, a romantic comedy that tells the story of Chang-yeon, a famous teacher across Korea, and Hyun-sung, a former national handball team player and owner of a neighboring store. Han Sun faces the universe of a private education to try to secure a place at university for his nephew, and ends up getting involved with Chang-yong, whose famous interference with his romance. The Good of Bad Mother. In this heartwarming dramedy, Young Sun is a young widow who tends to a pig farm, and her son Kan who single-handedly to give the boy good conditions. She assumes a tough, bad mother persona. Thanks to his mother's discipline, Young Hu becomes a famous prosecutor, but when he suffers an accident, he loses his memory and regresses to the age of 7. King the Land. Jung Won is her to the King group of hotels. He has grace, charisma, intelligence, and elegance, but not what he wants the most: memories of his mother. To try to recover his memory, he returns to the King Hotel, where the Queen of Hospitality and Smiles Jun Sung runs the reception, and the King the Land Lounge, a dream of hot layers and a coveted destination for the heir to the chain. Dashnirithya, due to a curse that he affected his family for 350 years, the famous lawyer Shin Yong must protect a temple at the foot of a mountain. But when an intruder breaks into the temple and accidentally dies, determined to save 70 young Su demands the site be demolished. See you in my 93 life, based on a webtoon of the same name. See you in my 93 life tells the spiritual love story between Deng Chu, owner of the extraordinary ability to remember her past lives, and Moon Song Ha, her love written in the stars. Movies. Kill Bok Soon. This action movie tells the story of the legendary killer for hire Jung Buk-soon, involved in a situation where she needs to kill or die right before renewing her contract. Jung-e. Jung-e is a set in the 2020th century, when Earth has not ceased to be habitable because of climate change. In the midst of chaos, an eternal war begins in the shelter created for the survival of humans. To gain victory and then end the war, a way must be found to clone the legendary mercenary Jung-gi and produce robots at scale.